Hello, everybody. 15 minutes with Divine here, and I'll go straight to the point. Boma and Tega have been evicted from the Big Brother house. I'm happy about it too. Let me not even pretend. This is not one of those things where I'll be like, but maybe, I'm happy. I'm happy about it because the truth is, I thought we had reached a place. As Nigerians, we had come to a place in Nigeria where anything goes. Apparently, Nigerians are still somewhat conservative. It was not okay for Tega, a married woman, to be fooling around with Boma, a bachelor, on TV in front of the whole world. What I'm gathering is, I'm sorry I say what I'm gathering because, like I said, I'm not an avid follower of the show. I watch snippets of it here and there. Those who are avid followers in my house fill me in. So what I'm gathering is when she came out, she spoke in a way that suggested that it was her strategy for winning the show. If you recall from the other post I put up, I think 2 or 3 days ago, when the scandal first came out about Tega, a married woman fooling around with Boma, a bachelor, on the Big Brother show, I said, for my part, I suspect that she and her husband may have reached an agreement that it is okay for her to get as scandalous as possible in the house if it will help her to bring the bag home. And from what she said, it is turning out that that was the strategy. It was a poorly thought out strategy. You see, one time, many years ago, but I think it was a Big Brother Africa contest. Remember, the one we watch now is the Nigeria version. Big Brother Africa at the time. I recall there was this young, fine-looking man, a mixed guy, and naturally, he became hot cake when he came into the house. Uno like better thing. All the babes were after him. And within a short while, it became obvious that he was romantically involved with one of the ladies in the house. And this man was married. So I recall, although it's been a while now, I recalled being so perplexed that a married man could flout his vows so openly. Because infidelity is common in marriage. It's very, very common in marriage. More from the men, but women do it too. But what I know is that ordinarily, people who are doing these things because they know it is wrong, maybe they are doing it because they themselves lack some kind of moral fiber or lack of self-discipline or whatever reason it is they're doing it. They know it is wrong. So most people try to hide it from their significant other. So, but when it's all out in the open in front of cameras on an international show, I begin to wonder, okay, what is this an agreement that both of them reached before the person came into the house? Is it possible that the marriage is already troubled? Because for me, those are the only two scenarios that make any significant sense. That particular person I'm talking about, I've forgotten his name now, but back then I used to watch Big Brother. That one got kicked out. No, he didn't get kicked out. He won the show. He won, fair and square. And when he left the house, his wife was there to welcome him. They seemed lovey-dovey. Everything seemed forgiven, And we never got to hear anything more. So I guess he left the house, went back into his wife's arms, and life continued, and he brought the bag with him. And subsequent editions of Big Brother Africa, got, rather extremely sexualized. And for me, that was when I started losing interest in the Big Brother show because I didn't understand what was going on. I got the impression that people were not being true to themselves because some of the scandalous things that were happening were things that I felt it came off as very unnatural and staged. Because why would any young lady decide that on international TV that what she's going to keep herself occupied with that afternoon, go and, stand and watch a man take his shower, and try to touch him and things like that. It felt staged. After a while, I lost interest in the show, and that has remained so for me till date. Except when I feel like, okay, there's maybe a small stake in it, like the last one, just the one that they had in 2020. There was somebody from my state there now. I had every intention of, supporting him, which I did. From time to time, I would vote for him and things like that. But I digress. So, 4 people got kicked out. Michael, Peace, and then, of course, the infamous Boma and Tega. So, it gladdens my heart to know that Nigerians are not ready to take just any kind of nonsense in the name of entertainment. I don't think anybody needs to be told that when you are in a committed relationship like marriage, infidelity, be you male or female, is a no-no. Another thing that gladdens my heart is that people are holding Boma, who is a bachelor. They're also holding him accountable for his actions in the house. Of all the ladies in the house for him to do whatever he wanted to do with, it was the married woman he found most attractive. Yes, for me, the onus lies more on the woman because she is the person who is married. She is the one who owes her husband explanations. She is the one who owes her husband fidelity. But Boma, her partner in crime, nobody is letting him off the hook. And in fact, the people who seem even more upset with Boma are men like himself. And that gives me an idea of, mentally where we are as a people today in Nigeria, and it makes me feel good. There was a time when if there's any incidence of infidelity like this, especially where it is glaring that the wife is at fault, naturally she's the only person anybody will talk to, will have issues with. The bachelor, nobody will even look at him. It takes 2 to create these problems. But now, they're holding Boma accountable. You knew she was a married woman. What are you doing there? Others are holding Tega accountable. You are married. You managed to make your way into Big Brother Nigeria house. And you could not respect your status, respect your marriage. And you had to start fooling around. So that particular strategy, dead in the water. We all like money. I like money too. But sometimes before you proceed with some of these things, maybe feel the pulse of the larger society you live in. And your typical average Nigerian is still relatively conservative. And those are the bulk of the people that watch these shows and vote. So your small clique where anything goes and maybe you do a bit of wife swapping or whatever it is you are doing in that clique, that is a very tiny microcosm of what the larger picture is. And that is why that strategy did not work. So I don't know, maybe this will set the tone for other, for other contestants that will come into the Big Brother house. Maybe we'll get more and more people giving us something organic, being their authentic self, rather than coming in with a pre-planned agenda of how they think they will navigate the 3 months and get to the bag. Because essentially I think what the show is about is, I think it's something like, it's a bit of a social experiment. Let's throw strangers together into a common space for this period of time and observe how, things play out, how they choose to live their lives, the kinds of things they get up to, and so on. So I personally am glad that Boma and Tega particularly have been evicted, and that both of them have been held accountable by Nigerians. It's a nice one, and I hope that we can use this to conclude that today Nigerians are, a little bit more, will be more fair-minded in their approach to these things than using gender biases to reach conclusions on anything. Boma particularly, it's evident at this point, although he hasn't admitted it, that it's evident that he came in with the mindset that he will generate as much controversy and scandal as possible. Because just a couple of days ago, he was in an all-out verbal fight with one young lady called Patience. Apparently, he accused her of saying something to malign him, and he got his facts wrong. But instead of sticking to it and maybe trying to talk it out in a reasonable way, he chose to come at her sideways with insults, invective, verbal abuse, and apparently he went on and on. I didn't catch the altercation from the beginning. It was when I heard raised voices that I came out to see what was going on, because me, I always love to see fights on TV. I love conflict on TV. It's very entertaining. So I naturally came out to see what's up. But by the time I came out, Boma wasn't, he was done, essentially. And the young lady he had been mouthing off at was the person really going in on him and all that. Apparently, in the course of calling her out for whatever it was he felt she had done wrong, he not only did he not stick to the issue, he got very, very personal by dragging her parents into it, telling her she would never achieve anything more in life than where she already is, and so on and so forth. These things, and it's not done. It's not done. So for Boma, I feel that beyond the Tega incident, which already had people concluding that this guy na yayama. Apart from that incident, I think the fight with the verbal altercation with Patience went above and beyond. Nigerians, your typical Nigerian doesn't like it when you start insulting people's parents. It's just basic. I don't even know which other part of the world is comfortable with that kind of conduct. But Nigerians particularly don't like that you're having a problem with somebody, and instead of sticking with that particular problem or dealing with that particular person, you digress and then start insulting the person's parents, who clearly have no clue what has gone down, had no hand in instigating it, and so on. What's the point now? Don't let it come and look as if all of us that have spiky hair don't have sense. What is the problem? Why are you shouting and shouting and shouting at a woman and carrying on? And you're so much older than her. I think the girl says she's 21 and Boma is about 33 or 34. Come on, my guy. You are old enough to be that girl's uncle. What is it? You are shouting, you are vibrating, you are shaking, you are talking, you are calling her parents' names. What is it? What happened? Now you have been kicked out. What makes Boma and Tega's situation even worse is, yes, you don't always have to be the winner. In all truth, and I'm not trying to be funny here, I don't remember who won BB Niger last year, or just this 2020 that passed. But I remember Kidwaya because he was very, very popular. So you don't have to come first. You don't have to take home the bag. But if you succeed in winning people's hearts, you can remain relevant even after the show has ended. Like Kidwaya, who I think is getting endorsement deals here and there. You know, I think he has become an influencer because the number of followers he had on Twitter, back when I was still on Twitter, was quite astronomical. You know, even Ebuka himself. Ebuka was part of the, I think, the first Big Brother Naija show. He didn't win. The person that won at the time was one Katung. I think he's from Plateau State or Southern Kaduna, but I'm not very sure. Let me not see what I don't know. But Katung won and, you know, faded into obscurity. Nobody ever hears about him anymore. I hope he's doing fine, but he doesn't have any social clout that I'm aware of. You know, but Ebuka just, I think, he did not even make top 3, Ebuka, if I'm not mistaken. But Ebuka has stayed relevant from that time till now, which I think is well over 15 years. He has become a media personality in his own right. Then there's another person also who was part of that Big Brother Nigeria that is on one of these soap operas on DSTV. So, but bottom line, despite the fact that they didn't win, they were able to leverage on the social capital they got from the show, to get better things, to get endorsements, to, to become personalities, media personalities in their own rights. Tega, Boma, I don't see any brand that will be looking for you people to come and endorse anything. No. If Nigerians had liked the show you put on, they would have kept you in the house. Clearly, Nigerians don't like you. As the people that vote in Big Brother have done, drop you like a hot cake, a hot plate. It's the same way that endorsers will not go near you like the plague. So for the rest of you that are still interested in the Big Brother franchise and maybe you're hoping to wangle your way in by next year, bear it in mind though, Nigerians are still relatively conservative. I don't talk and finish. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.